I'm saying, yeah. Now he's in that great.
Does that not influence you at all?
And then in a return.
What about him? He wasn't. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, the other guys swapped over.
All these great seats for you to sit down in. We'll be starting shortly.
That's true.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise for the presentation of the colors, followed by the national anthem and prayer. As a reminder, please silence all personal electronic devices at this time. Thank you. Honor Guard, present the colors.
Right shoulder. On. Oh, present. On.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh. Every other left. Or.
Good afternoon. Let's take a moment to pray. Dear Lord Jesus, we thank you for today. Thank you for this beautiful day, especially for running. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity and the blessing of living in the United States of America. We ask your hand upon this event to help it go well as we honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Lord, please be with the families of and the loved ones of the ones we are here to honor today. Give them comfort and strength. Lord, we just love you and praise you. We
Welcome to the 2023 Arkansas Run for the Fallen. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to welcome one of our distinguished guests who's here today. Miss Roxy Hall is the mayor in Ozark, and when we started this on Friday morning, she helped us start, and she's here at the Capitol here celebrating with us today. I'd also like to take a moment here at the beginning of the ceremony and recognize all Arkansas Gold Star families. If you're a Gold Star family member that's here today, could you please stand? Gold Star families as we remember the loved ones they have lost. Today marks the end of the 2023 state run of 155 miles. Each mile marks another fallen hero and has been identified with a flag and a bio of each one. Each mile is also marked with a salute to them. As our runners have crossed the state of Arkansas, they have encountered families and friends of our heroes. Many people came out to show their respect in the only way they know how, just being there. There's nothing that we can do to make the pain go away for these families, but the one thing that we can do is remember them and never forget. That's what this run is all about. Today, our special speaker is Gold Star sister, Christy Brooks. Earlier today, you had the opportunity to hear Christy use her beautiful voice to sing the national anthem. She's always willing to serve and use her talent to sing, especially in honor of her brother. Christy's brother, Army Staff Sergeant Paul F. Brooks, an Army medic, was killed in action while conducting combat operations near Baghdad, Iraq. Christy takes every opportunity to share the story of her brother and make sure that his life and legacy continue on. Christy, thank you for traveling with us this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our special Gold Star family speaker for today, Ms. Christy Brooks.
Thank you. I want to say that first and foremost. Angela and Bubba for allowing me to hang out and get to meet the family. I know most of the Gold Star families, so to be able to meet the family that supports our family, the bikers, the runners have been extremely supportive and just make you feel at home, so I really appreciate that. I think if I needed something tomorrow, I think I could probably reach out and go, hey, help me, and they'd be there. So I appreciate that. To every person that takes the picture, Jill, her kids, it's great. So thank you so much. Helps us make memories. Speaking of memories, I had a horrible accident in 21, so my memories of my brother are not that great. They're far, between. So memories of birthdays, Christmases, I don't really have that. What I do have is what I know from what people have told me, looking at his memorial page, his children who are now grown, married. One is serving in the National Guard now, so following in his father's footsteps. So those are the memories I have. His parents are still alive. He has an older sister and a younger brother. We all miss him. He's got nieces, nephews, great nieces, great nephews. It's crazy the things he's missing out on. So 13 years has come and gone for us, and here's some things that we do as a family to keep his memory alive. This run, so important to myself, just for what I just said. The other Gold Star families, getting to know the story, I can read it all day long, but to meet the families, and I was fortunate and humbled enough to be able to come to some of the miles and speak to and read about the families, so I'm very thankful for that opportunity. I mentioned the Run for the Fallen. I cannot say enough about this family, the runners, Bubba, Angela, everybody that's involved, this bike team that I've known now for 12 years. I think it's amazing what you guys do, and I could never say thank you enough for what you guys do. I'm also fortunate enough to work for the Elks Lodge in Jonesboro. There is a blood drive that we do. My brother was a medic, as Angela stated, so we do that because that's the only way our family knew how to keep his memory alive, and in some way that we could help others. So we do that for him. In May of 2020, I could never do what Bubba and Angela do. This is huge. one small thing that we have done is a boot memorial. There was a large boot memorial here years ago, and I took that home and was like, man, this would be great. So with those boots, we have the 155 boots, and then we also placed 22 for those that unfortunately get lost somewhere in the memory of living, grief, whatever they get lost in. In these boots, we do the same thing. There's a bio, there's a flag, and there's a red rose that we place, and it's placed at our state courthouse or city courthouse, and we do that throughout the day for people just to stop and look at, and it's amazing that people are like, oh, I know this person, or this how amazing this is. But for us, it's about education. In the generations we have coming up, if we stop doing what we do, Bubba and Angela decided not to do this again, what then? Who's going to keep up the memory of my brother or your sister or your son? So for us, it's my family, it's about education, making sure that just like the recent Cross America thing, it's honor, remember, and say their name. So with these boots, that's what we try to do, and just know that if we do not continue the education, we're going to get lost, and our family members are going to get lost. So any way that you decide to remember your person, do it. Share the information, and just make sure that your children, I have a grandchild that every time she sees a flag, that's her Uncle PF. And yes, you're right, that's what he fought for. So yes, I will share that, and that she will be a part of anything that she wants to be a part of as she grows up, and she'll be with her grandbaby anytime she wants to, because that's the way we keep it going. And then she'll tell her friends who tell her friends. So that's what we have to do, is continue the education and say their name, and that's all I can say. And I appreciate again everything that Bubba and Angela and this team does. It's phenomenal. And again, I was humbled to see the camaraderie and just the support that our families get, because sometimes we don't get it, because half the time no one knows what a Gold Star family member is. So I'm very thankful for you guys, more than you know. Probably never say it enough, but I love you guys and I appreciate you very much. And to my Gold Star family, much love to you all as well. Thank you.
Christy, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for the awareness that you're creating, and you're part of the state, and the education that you're providing, and for being a part of this weekend. At this time, we're going to have Gold Star families come forward to read the names of the fallen heroes. Over the weekend, we honored 155 heroes individually. The purpose of this program is to collectively honor those that were individually honored over the weekend. So if those family members could come forward, we will read the names of the heroes.
I want to echo Christy's sentiments that everybody that's been involved has been so incredible over the years. Thank you, Bubba, Angela, and even the privilege to get to read names today as a Gold Star brother. It's been a blessing over these years. Let me start with Corporal Zachary D. Baker, Sergeant Ronald W. Baker, Staff Sergeant Cameron W. Beckwith, Specialist Rusty W. Bell, Sergeant Nathan W. Bennett, Petty Officer Second Class Kevin R. Bewley, Staff Sergeant Leslie T. Box Jr., Staff Sergeant Stacy C. Brandon, Staff Sergeant Paul F. Brooks, my little brother, Sergeant First Class John Gary Brown, Special Operations Chief Adam L. Brown, Technical Sergeant John W. Brown, Corporal Lauren N. Buffalo, Corporal Jimmy D. Newton, Lieutenant Colonel Joshua D. Burgess, Sergeant William W. Bushnell, Specialist Serena N. Butcher. Specialist Ahmed A. Casey. Sergeant Earl H. Cottle. Lance Corporal Irvin M. Siniceros. Specialist Jonathan M. Cheatham. Master Sergeant Gregory L. Childs. Corporal Jason S. Clairday. Corporal Matthew E. Clark. Sergeant James M. Clay. Sergeant Russell L. Collier. Senior Airman Ryan T. Collins. Corporal William C. Comstock. Staff Sergeant James P. Cook Jr. Captain Aaron D. Cox. Sergeant Zana C. Krumer. Specialist Tyler L. Freeman. Major Ronald W. Colvin. Sergeant Stuart W. Denny. Staff Sergeant Christopher L. Dobbs. Sergeant First Class James D. Doster. Staff Sergeant Justin M. Estes. Chief Warrant Officer Gary M. Farwell. Captain Arthur L. Felder. Specialist Dustin C. Fisher. Corporal Justin V. Fowler. Specialist Christopher T. Fox. Technical Sergeant Samuel U. G. Lucchino.
Thank you everyone for being here. Sergeant Freeman L. Gardner Jr. Senior Airman Chase A. Gibson. Private First Class Landon S. Giles. Second Lieutenant James M. Goins. Major Kevin P. Gross. Sergeant Michael D. Hall. Sergeant Ethan C. Harden. Sergeant Jamar A. Hicks. Staff Sergeant Darren T. Hoover. Lance Corporal Brian C. Hop. Staff Sergeant Kenneth A. Jenkins. Sergeant First Class Kevin P. Jessen. Private Jeremy A. Johnson. Hospital Corpsman Second Class Michael V. Johnson Jr. Chief Warrant Officer 2 Charles S. Jones. Captain Gussie M. Jones. Specialist Zach D. Jones. Corporal Dustin L. Kendall. Chief Petty Officer Samuel G. Kersley. Lieutenant Colonel Paul W. Kimber. Private First Class Danny L. Kimmy. Captain John M. Kenny. My dad, Chief Warrant Officer 4, Patrick William Kortzman. Sergeant First Class William W. Labady Jr. Second Lieutenant Stuart F. Lyles. Private Second Class William A. Long. Technical Sergeant Timothy A. Holt. Operations Specialist Second Class Damon Lyons III. Specialist Timothy L. Matthews. Sergeant Joshua S. Markham. Private Van R. Markham. Sergeant Bradley W. Marshall. First Lieutenant Thomas M. Martin. Staff Sergeant Charles H. Martin, Jr. Sergeant John R. Massey. Private First Class Rodney L. McCandless. Specialist Clayton D. McGarrett. Specialist Dustin K. McGaw. Sergeant Arthur R. McGill. Specialist Jeremy W. McAlpin. Sergeant First Class Troy L. Miranda. Specialist Raymond N. Mitchell III. And Master Sergeant Kevin N. Morgan.
Sergeant Kevin D. Mosby, Sergeant Keelan L. Moss, Corporal Curtis M. Oble, Staff Sergeant Billy J. Morton, Sergeant Vincent L. C. Owens, Corporal Tommy L. Parker Jr., First Lieutenant Tyler Richard E. Parton, Lance Corporal Richard R. Penny, Staff Sergeant Dustin W. Peters, Specialist Robert A. Pierce, Specialist William J. Valencia, Specialist Derek J. Plowman, Senior Chief Petty Officer Thomas A. Ratzliff, Specialist Brian T. Raver, Specialist Matthew K. Reese, Staff Sergeant Jerry D. Reed, Sergeant Jonathan J. Richardson, Sergeant Joseph A. Richardson, Staff Sergeant William T. Robbins, Staff Sergeant Carlo M. Robinson, Sergeant David S. Robinson, Sergeant Thomas C. Rosenbaum, First Sergeant Blue C. Rowe, Specialist Lyle W. Reimer, Private First Class Bruce C. Salazar, Airman First Class Jesse M. Samick, Private First Class Corey J. Sample, Specialist Philip N. Sales, Lance Corporal Benjamin W. Schmidt, Specialist Tyler R. Seidman, Staff Sergeant John T. Self, Specialist Jeffrey P. Schaefer, Sergeant Eric S. Smallwood, and my dad, my superhero, my Superman, Staff Sergeant Alan Wayne Shaw.
Sergeant Brandon M. Smith, Private First Class Brandon C. Smith, Staff Sergeant Michael G. Smith, Sergeant Michael A. Smith, Sergeant First Class Bradley G. Snipes, Corporal Jeremy L. Stacy, Sergeant First Class Mackenzie M. Stade, Sergeant Michael J. Stracala, Sergeant Michael R. Sturdivant, my son, my hero, Sergeant Jason Michael Swindle, Major Michael V. Taylor, Private First Class Nathan C. Thacker, Airman First Class Kyle C. Truitt, Lance Corporal Benjamin W. Tuttle, Lance Corporal Stephen A. Valdez, Corporal Chad S. Wade, Sergeant Major William T. Warren, Master Sergeant Daniel R. Lawson II, Corporal David L. Watson, Specialist Bobby R. West, Staff Sergeant Michael T. Wilkes, Corporal Kyle W. Wilkes, Sergeant First Class Benjamin B. Wise, Specialist Donovan D. Witham, Sergeant First Class Anthony L. Woodham, Major John E. Woods Jr., Senior Airman Tyler R. Woodward, First Lieutenant Adam D. Wright, Staff Sergeant David A. Wyatt, Private First Class Jonathan C. Yaney, Sergeant Michael J. Yarborough, Corporal Will C. Yacht, Sergeant First Class Ricardo D. Young.
We have a moment of silence for these heroes that were honored over the weekend. Thank you. Words cannot express our gratitude for your sacrifices. We will not forget. At this time, I want to take a moment to recognize the sponsors and the supporters who, without their help, this event would not be possible. If you look at the back of the shirt, you'll see a lot of names. We just want to publicly recognize James A. Rogers Excavating, the Bee's Knees Upscale Flea Market, Gold Star Kitchen, Old Arkansas Alarm Company, Jamie Hunt Employees Group, A1 Amusement, Parker Animal Clinic, Collier Drug Stores, First Arkansas Bank and Trust, Rolling Thunder Chapter 1 Arkansas, State Farm Insurance, Brad Hankins Agent, VFW Riders Arkansas, and the Michael Ray VFW Post in Jacksonville. If you're a sponsor of this event, could you please stand to be recognized? We would also like to give a very special thank you to the following individuals, groups, and organizations. Without their unwavering support, this event would not be possible. Little Rock Police Department, the Arkansas State Police, Troops H and J, the Arkansas Retired Military Vehicle Preservation Association, McClarty Ford for providing the vehicles that we used all weekend, Graffiti Graphics, the City of Ozark, Nationwide Trailers, First Baptist Church of Cabot, Arkansas Patriot Guard Riders, and so many more who both support both financially and by your presence, not only at miles but also events all throughout the year. If you supported this event by standing at a mile or providing needed resources this weekend, please stand to be recognized. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask Bubba Beeson, the Arkansas Run for the Fallen founder, to come forward for a few words.
Yeah.
So right out of the gate, it ain't about Bubba Beeson or Angela Beeson or Arkansas Run for the Fallen. It's about these families and the heroes that we're running for. Every year you hear a different story from a family or whatnot, or see a different situation that affects the runners or the bikers or the state police, and it's just makes it tell you to make sure that what you're doing is the right doggone thing, even though it's sometimes it's hard. But it was cold this weekend, wasn't it? I know them bikers was cold, but we had the wind at our back most of the time, so that was good. But a few people I need to personally think this couldn't be pulled off without these folks. And I know I'm going to forget somebody. So if I do, I'll apologize in advance. So Jeff and Sally are the ride captains for the whole thing. Once we start moving, it's his show. He runs it. He makes the decisions where we put markers, how we are to address certain things. But without Jeff and Sally Billman, there would be no Arkansas Run for the Fallen. So Rick and Ashley, all the motorcycle folks, Rick and Ashley, Jimmy Todd and his daughters, they rode in this weekend. Big Dan, Bob Lavery, and his wife Deb. Bob's actually the ones that got this started back in 2012. So it's good to see him on the ride as well. Tommy and Wilma, Billy Arnett showed back up. Martin Bright, and I see Bud up there. Wave your hand, Bud, because I forgot to put you on here and I see you. So. And Big Rock, there was a patch of ice there in Conway this morning, and one of the motorcycles went down. So when y'all say your prayers tonight before you go to bed, send one up there for Big Rock. He should be okay, but the motorcycle kind of got tore up, but he's okay, and that's what matters. So they understand, what we're doing is obviously for the families. So with the motorcycles, they're their own little entity that do things at each mile. Especially for the families, y'all can kind of see how things go. But behind the scenes, there's a bunch of retiree guys that I used to work with back in the day, in the early 2010s, that are retired and they're coming from out of state. There's Jimmy V, which owns the Bee's Knees, one of our sponsors. He's retired. He does this every year. Rodney Kazay, he just retired last year. He's coming up from Louisiana. Jeff Parks come all the way from North Carolina to do this. Jeff Meyer and his lovely family. What we do for 3 days, we couldn't send that out to the masses without those ladies over there, Jackson too, taking pictures, videos, and whatnot. And Allison this year, she's probably worked harder in the last 3 days than the last 16 years. So, she's learning how to adults, and she's like, Mom, Dad, I'm tired. I'm like, we're used to it, that's how we roll, right? All right. So yeah, Jeff and Jill and Madison and Jackson, what a beautiful family to come along the way and help us out. Nick Butler, every year it gets harder and harder to find runners in the white shirts to do this. Obviously, we don't have a kinetic war going on right now, so it's really not front and center in some people's lives like it is ours. So it's harder and harder every year to generate people to hack those miles. So Nick really pulled it through. About 2 weeks before, we're like, we ain't got enough. Like, I'm not even going to deal with it. We're going to have enough. The Lord's going to bless what you did. Jared Mitchell, he showed up this year. Medic, glad we didn't need you. But when we first started doing this, we had a couple medics ride along with us, and Jared stepped up and said, hey, I'm going to be there for you. Next year you're going to run instead of staying on the train. Friday morning, it was really cool. Rolled through Thursday night, and obviously the city of Ozark for the last 2 or 3 years is like blown up in their support for us. Back in the day, we just show up and eat every time barbecue. Next morning, try to find some restaurant in Ozark to eat at, which usually we'd end up busting tables to do it, and then we'd step off. But in the last couple, 2 or 3 years, Miss Roxy and her team of volunteers out there, they feed us when we show up at night, where we wrap all the hero flags that we put out the next couple days, shower us with love and respect, and if we see anything we need. The next morning they feed us again, breakfast and whatnot, and this week, or this weekend, was the first time I think that I've seen pretty much every person in the city of Ozark. There ain't very many out there, but every one of them was doggone standing on the side of the road waving flags. So that's you, Miss Roxy. So wave your hand. Give it up, Miss Roxy. Un momento, por favor. I love you. Well, I gotta get you too. How many of y'all, when y'all first come up, thought that was like a smoke barbecue? That's right. Anyhow, that's what I say when they start not to get emotional. Yeah. Miss Roxy in the city of Ozark. We've seen a lot this year. Obviously, every year it gets kind of bigger, but it looks like Little Rock gets smaller. I don't know why. And there is talk. I was going to say this to them, but since I'm on it, there is talk about we're kind of brainstorming. We might go the opposite way next year and finish in Ozark. Because we like to show them a little bit of love, if you will. So, but obviously it's logistical issues on our end. So if we do, we do, and we'll make it happen like we always do. Arkansas State Police. So I didn't see them. Obviously, every time you see the state police, you're like, oh no, did he catch me? But we had two guys this weekend, J28 David Smothers and J39, which is David Wilcott. They were with us the whole way except for the first 10 miles. And doggone, them guys is good. I mean, the professionalism, they in traffic control. Obviously, when we're on 2-lane roads, it jams up a lot. We had incidences on I-40 this time, but we still made it happen. And I got to give a shout out to those guys. Obviously, they're on their way back to Clarksville. Mickey Spillane. Man, I'm sitting in my shop the other day, and the wife's like, did you talk to Mickey about a speakers and podium? No. Mickey came through. He's a retired chief as well. He understands what it's like to do things in such short notice. He loves families, loves our families as well. And he's a patriot as well, like we all are. And I just got to thank you for what you do, Mickey. You're a clutch hitter, if you will. Miss Ginger. Miss Ginger. She's out front. She ended up she's my cousin from Texas. She moved up here from Texas because Arkansas is better. And just saying. And she had to, she dealt with the 5K rush and whatnot. Jason Latroupe, where you at? He's probably out taking pictures in a ghillie suit or something. Alright, so I guess about 2 months ago, this cat calls me. He goes, hey, I ran into Florida Run for the Fallen and the New York Run for the Fallen, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I want to run in Arkansas. I'm like, well, come on down. I said, we do things a little different down here. And so he showed up the other day, and he can hear me. Where's he at? And he's like, where am I going to stay? And I said, dude, man, you with all of us, man. We're a team and we're going out. So he's going to start one in Ohio. And I told him this before. I said, dude, if you ain't got a team like this, you'll be pushing the road. I said, these motorcycle dudes, the Patriots on the side, doing all the grunt work, if you will. I said, they don't have, you got to find somebody with heart. And after doing this for 11 years, we got it. I mean, we're clicking. We got heart. We know what it means to honor these close to our families, especially. I'm standing over there, and by the first name, I already know the last name. I know in the middle initial because you've just heard it over the years, and it's just special to me. And my lovely bride and daughter, Angela. She does the back end work, social media, face, and all that other stuff. And I don't, so I just kind of like the woman in the china closet. It needs to get done. That's how we're going to do it. And she kind of finesses it up. We did it last night, so let's see. And Lynn Morelli, she's a veteran. She's not here. She's with us. She drives the car for her wife and goes to our family. And obviously she's retired now. And she went about a bout of cancer 2-3 years ago. Now she's up in Utah, Idaho. So she's up there doing some of the benefits. Well, I don't know if it's a benefit if you got cancer in heaven, but she's up there for a veterans camp for snowboarding like that. So with that, you see the shirt. It says Wreath Across America. If you think we're good at Arkansas Run for the Fallen, you need to come out and Wreath Across America because it's just as good and just as fun. So with that, I'm gonna hush my yap and thanks, Mom, for the cookies and the tuna fish. It tastes more than mine.
ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of today's ceremony. If you haven't had a chance, the families that are in gold, you know, get a chance to meet them. We have families here from Texas, Virginia, Oregon, Missouri that have traveled to Arkansas for this weekend. Help them know just how special they are to us and talk to them before you leave. So thank y'all for coming out. We look forward to seeing you next year.